everyone, and it is my pleasure to introduce Angela to you all. Welcome, Angela, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. And also Nessie, who is here together with Angela, who made this connection and is a good friend of Speak Up for Our Planet. So Angela Baptista is a forest engineer who has spent most of her life in conventional cultivation of vegetables, orchards, and so on, until she found what she describes as the missing link. So a way to look at this from nature's point of view, or a regenerative path. So this is now what Angela's work currently focuses on: training and consulting in regenerative systems. And in this talk tonight, she will share a bit with us about how she is doing this in Portugal, where she is based, in a way which really respects the laws of nature and still brings high productivity to the cultivation, and hopefully also give us some tips on how we might be able to do something similar. So I will now hand over to Nessie just before Angela takes the floor.
Thanks very much, Eve, and it's such a pleasure to be here. So just a few words to say that I met Angela by great good fortune to the worldwide opportunities on organic farms, otherwise called WOOF. So I became a woofer, and I ended up in just outside Lisbon on the agroforestry land, and was led expertly by the hand by Angela. So I will now pass you over to her now, so she can impart her wisdom.
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here with you and to have the opportunity to talk with you about this amazing technique, and more than technique, the amazing thing that is to work with nature. So I will focus my presentation on natural succession agroforest. That is what I use to work side by side with the nature. I made a presentation in a slideshow, so I will talk at the same time as I show you what I made for you. And any questions? I'm Portuguese, and I'm trying to talk in English. So anything that you don't understand, please tell me, that I will try to explain better. Okay? So I will now start. Oops. So the title I think says everything, or I want that says everything. That when if you want to think or to take care of our planet, really, we have to regenerate. What this means when we start, we have an amount of certain things, and in the end, after producing a product, can be a peach, can be a lettuce, can be whatever, we have more than we have in the beginning. So we have more microorganisms on the soil, we have more plants, we have more photosynthesis, we have more. But it's a way, don't extract. So when we start this path, we can use this tool. agroforest system in a way that we imitate the natural succession, and I will explain this in detail. So, agroforest systems are efficient ways important thing that we have to fix in our inside of us, not just in our minds, inside of us. So, and regenerative systems to work, to really regenerate, has to be dynamic and closed. So everything works inside, everything is recycled, everything, the end is the beginning and beginning is the end. It's like die and live and die. We cannot have life if there is no death, and the opposite. So it's a circle that it's closed, and only with closed cycles, they are very dynamic between them, because we can put in and I don't know if it's the right word, but we can put in other things and take other things. That's why it's dynamic, but always closed, because if you open something on this cycle, it's no longer regenerating. We are starting to have losses, to lose something instead of everything that is there you use. So regenerating in a most open way, mind over how it is the word, over the big view. The big view has to be a closed cycle. That's what I mean. So I have to talk, because the beginning on one thing that is completely mandatory, that is there, it's sustainability. Very word that I cannot say so much good, but sustainability. So it's the capacity of the human beings interact with the world, but in a way that preserves the world, not like use, and I don't want to think about it. I have it now. I don't think about it. What will be tomorrow of the other person, people has it or no. So I use it and I reuse it and again. So these concepts and regenerative systems are completely hand by hand, always together, because if they are not together, it's not working. So what actions can we take to do this, to start to do this? So the most important one is to observe and interact. We cannot do nothing before we just sit and look and see without judgment. So what I observe, okay, I observe that there are trees, that are animals, that the land is bigger or it's not bigger. We observe everything. What's happened in spring, what's happening the summer, it's the most favorable thing is to see all over a year our land, to see what's happened there. But if you cannot do this all during a year, we go there and observe what we have there in that moment. So the first thing is not, I want to do something, I want this. No, the first thing is doing nothing. It's not nothing, it's everything, it's to observe. And when we do this, we start immediately to interact. Because if you are observing and then we take, okay, so I have this weather, I have this soil, I have this, I have this. So we started to interact with what we observed. So this example, I can give you examples, but this is mainly you take, you go and sit and just breathe and watch and see and listen. Listen is very important. The wind, the birds, whatever, you listen. And then you start to interact. Then the other thing that we should do is cooperate. And that's when we're working with the nature. Because, for instance, I observed that my weather there on that land, on that piece of land, is like it rains in the summer, doesn't rain in the summer. So, for instance, our Mediterranean weather here in Portugal. So, what's happening? The rain just comes on the winter, during the winter. During the summer, there's no rain. So I know that if I go plant some tree or some species that needs water during the summer and I don't have water to give it, I will not plant that species, because I know she will not survive, or she will be very sad there trying to live. So you see, I'm cooperating. I'm seeing a situation. I'm seeing that there's no rain during the summer. So I will just plant species that are completely adapted to that situation. You see, I'm cooperating. I'm not going against. I can go against and watering, but that's not so sustainable. That's not so regenerative. So it's very important to observe and then cooperate. So step by step. Then if you have some problems or some challenges on that land, on that observation, we have to see them like, okay, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to, for instance, learn. Okay, I have this challenge. What can I do? But never forget the other one, the cooperation, okay? Not go against, but with. So see problems like opportunities, like, for instance, I have a soil that is very compacted, so it's very hard to work on it. So I can start to plant some species that have deep roots that will start to work the soil. And then that soil, naturally working with the nature, will be not so compacted next year or for next 3 months or next 6 months, depends on the weather we have. I already have a soil that it's less compacted, you see. So it was a problem, and now it's not a problem. The problem disappeared, and I have that plants there, like when they die, have biomass for the soil, I have photosynthesis, I have some things there, you see. It was a problem, and then now I don't have problem, and I have like 3 or 4 good things, you see. So look at the glass. How do we say, not half empty, but half full. And this changed everything, like, okay. And then, like nature does, what she does, each element has it's multifunction. For instance, you plant a lavender. So a lavender is what? Is a plant that makes photosynthesis. It's a plant that is aromatic. It's medicinal. You can make like medicines. You can make a tea. You can use it and it smells good. It really attracts bees. You see, just one plant, you have lots of things. It's very lovely. It's ornamental. You can have it there outside your door, for instance, in a pot even, and it makes difference. And the other thing is the residue of one element is the resource. Sorry, let me just pass this from here. Of the other, you know, there is no waste. So, for instance, the leftovers of the food, you see, they don't go to the garbage. They go to the soil and feed the worms. You see, so we are always on that cycle that it's closed, and we should integrate instead of segregate. So we put inside of we embrace the things instead of, oh, I don't take it. And you don't, no, I see, let's see, this works here, so I will put it. This doesn't work here, but it works there. Because if it's here, it's for some reason. You see, you are always on that first point, the observation. This is continuous. And another thing that it's very, very useful, and we should do it, use small and slow solutions. Okay, sometimes we don't have time enough, or we don't even have money enough to start something or something. But one step today, one plant today, and one plant tomorrow. And for instance, just let the plants that are spontaneous just grow now, and you see. Then in 1 year or less, doesn't matter, in the future, near future, you have more. You never have less. The nature are very, very generous and has lots of wisdom. So let's use this, let's do it. And one thing that is very, very important, using and valuing margins that we call ecotones. Margins are that parts of the land that, for instance, you have like a grassland, and then you have some trees. The space between the grassland and when grassland ends and the forest begins, that is the part that is more interesting to begin wherever you want, because it's the one that has more diversity. So ecotones, or the margins, is to use and to really value. So if you want to start for some another, if for instance you buy a land that already has trees, that already has, like, for instance, this grass, so you begin from there, because it's the part that we have more biomass, more plants, and more important than plants, more different plants. So it's very important to use this. And of course, if you can use and have different different things, like I have here some trees, I have the grassland. Now I'm gonna have chickens, for instance. So the chickens will do a good job. So if I have problems with the eggs or the chickens, I have the trees. If I had problems in that year with the trees, I have the eggs and the chickens, or I have the grass. The grass, I can put some even like a shepherd, no, a sheep, not shepherd, sheep there, you know, and she's putting some manure on the soil. You see, use small solutions, value the diversity. This is happening at the same time always. And of course, if we use the creativity and respond to change, make the system resilient, even better. And that's why we use, and this agroforest natural succession agroforests are so efficient because they became resilient. So I'm going to just introduce what is agroforest systems in like a concept of this what is this means. And if you want to consult, it's very interesting. This European Agroforest Federation is what we have here in Europe, that talks and has lots of articles and many very interesting things about the agroforest. And this organism gave these two concepts of agroforest. So you begin to see that now it's just not just trees. There are trees and agriculture and vegetables and other kind of plants with the trees and the trees with them. You see? So agroforest practices include all forms of association of trees and crops, and very important, and or animals. So the animals are very important on this system because they put manure, you put organic matter on your land. So feeds the soil, feeds the microorganisms that are in the soil. But I was saying, on a plot or agricultural land, whether inside the plot or on its edges, again, the edges, the margins. So you cannot even, I don't have space. Of course you have space. You have space. Always you have space. We can always do something. For instance, we have a garden and you have just a wall. You have space, but instead of you just put one species, why don't you make an agroforest? You put trees, you put vegetables, you put aromatic plants, you put grasses, you put strawberries, you see, and you have an edge, lots of diversity, and these species working with each other. You see, we have already it's a small step, slow, it's a, como é que se diz? A small step, but a big action. You see, that's what I mean. So, oops. Sorry. This was not supposed to be here. I don't know why I checked. But then I go there. So I show you what is an agroforest system. Now I'm going to show you what is a traditional agroforest system. So normally an agroforest always exists, especially here in Europe, always exists. It's a very ancient way to work with the nature, but it's traditional. Why? Because normally we choose a species, a tree, a forest species, like for instance, an oak or walnut trees or olive trees. So you just have one tree, a species of a tree, three species, so oaks or olives. And then in between the trees, because you have lots of spaces between them, you use animals or you use another, let me just put this here. Another, another vegetable, for instance. In this middle photo here, we have a fruit tree, and here it's sweet potato. You see? This is agroforest system. But here what I have, two species, just two species. And we know that more diversity we have, more regenerative and more resilient is the system. Or for instance, here we have olive trees and have cows. Okay, there are two species too. But you know, this is traditional. So, but we want to go further. So you want to combine different things more. So we go to the natural successional agroforest. So this kind of system is characterized by cultivation in the same area. You can choose an area. And you have a wide biodiversity of species. You just don't have olives and cows or sweet potatoes and walnuts, no. Or a cereal like wheat and walnuts, no. We have like a wide biodiversity of species, but a real wide one. And they are synchronized. And with what? With in their production cycles to optimize the time and the space. So if, for instance, I have just one or like 10 square meters, in that 10 square meters, I will plant a diversity of species that when I look, I don't see soil. I just see plants absorbing all the sun energy, you know, and every space and even the time, because plants have different cycles, life cycles, they are always during this occupying the land. So that's what we call imitating natural ecological succession. And it's in an accelerated way because we make the design of these lands, these lands, like lands, no, like lines, lines, using species that they have different needs of light, different needs of fertilizer. I'm gonna have here another slide saying this, but not this one yet. So we use the natural succession. So I will explain before I this. So what is natural succession? So it's what I say in the beginning, imitate the nature, working with her, with it. I like to say with her because I see like almost a I don't know, but it's it. So the sequence of change in communities from bedrock, from rock to climax forest. You imagine a rock. You just have a place with rocks, and then imagine like for instance, the Amazonic forest. It's from that point until the other. So during this time, the natural will occupy the time and the space according with what she has. She's in the beginning, like here, she's in the beginning, she starts to have just like little small rocks, and then the rocks will become soil, and then the seeds can sprout, and then I have more and more because here I already have more biomass because these ones already dead, so they give, you know, that cycle. So they were living, they were alive, then they die, and they give food to the others, and more food, more bigger and bigger until we go to the climax community. So we have just big trees that gives food. This is the forest that gives food to the people, to everybody. Here we have fruits, we have wood, we have water, we have protection, we have shelter, protection in a way that we can live there, like the Indians did, you know, because they had everything there. So that's a climax community. And work with natural succession, apply to agroforests, we have this more fast. Instead, this naturally can last, can take like 100 years or 500 years, whatever. We can do this in 10, 20 years with this technique. Always focus on the regeneration, always. But we put in a line all these species in a line. That's why we accelerate the process. And I want to put this sentence here. Beings, the common beings to all these stages are the beings that live inside the soil. Never forget this. Because what's happening here, it's happening here. But what's happening here, it's happening because there are something happening here in the soil. Okay? So, now we go to natural succession agroforest. So each specific type of plant is implemented in the soil in the location that is really appropriate to its development and needs for light, like I said, fertility and size. And important, regenerating the entire surrounding system, in particular the soil. If you don't have a regenerative, if you don't have life in your soil, you cannot have these trees. You cannot have this density of trees. You cannot have this, you know, it's impossible, because it's here that you can regenerate and put everything here. The CO2, everything stays here. It works here on the soil. And you see, agroforest is completely different from that photos that I showed you before, with the cows and the trees and the sweet potatoes. You see, there are different species. Each one of them occupies a certain height, you see, and then they work. This one here can live perfectly, and you see they are very close to each other. And we say, oh, the trees and the plants need space. The plants need space more than what they need more is light. If I have here a plant like this one that needs lights and is the highest, she has all the light she needs. And then can be another one here that doesn't need so much light, but you see, occupy this part of the soil, you see? And they are here living very happy all together. And because they are very different, this here it's very different. It has lots of bacteria and fungi and everything that really feeds all this. So here you can, in 10 years, less than even sometimes, when we start with a land that already has some organic matter, you can have this. And I don't understand why we don't make this like in a big scale, because it's completely possible. It's just to choose the right species, just that. And not forget that this is very important, and this has ecological and economic function. So you will take from here your, not just your food, but your money too, because you can sell this food, for instance. So this is not a dream, this is reality. So what I said, natural succession agroforest is everything about soil. Soil alive, full of life. I wanted to repeat this because you see, these roots are here because we think that we need just nutrients in the soil and then the plant feeds. No, what gives the nutrients to the plants is the microbes, the fungi, the protozoaries, even the virus sometimes, because there are good viruses, like good bacteria, like good fungi, like good, I mean, not that don't make disease, like not pathogenic, but it's benefic. So you see, this is another soil with life. You see the life, you see the color. Almost when you look to this picture here, you almost feel the life that is here. You don't feel, I feel it. That's why I choose this photo. And here I choose this one to see. You see all these leaves here on the forest, on the soil of the forest. This is what this is the way that plants give food to themselves. You see, they were these leaves were alive, and now they are dead, and they are feeding the micro life, you know. And for the other part, the roots. This is all together connected. Everything is connected. That's why it's a cycle that is closed, because everything. What this means, that everything is connected. And when we see this way, it's very easy to choose the plants and to do this. In the beginning, it seems like not so easy, but it is. And sorry, because something happens here and the slide went, and what I want to show you now is this one. So you saw that picture, you know, similar to this one. So to work with this technique, we need to know that there are plants that we call emergent. So we call this strata or layers, different stratification. So these ones that are here are the emergent, or the big ones, the ones that they are very tall, they really needs light, full light. These plants here has to catch the light all day. And then there is the other ones that are underneath the first ones. They are high, but not so high. And when we think about this, we think always about the quantity of the sunlight that reaches the plants. That's how it works. And then there is the other ones and the other ones and the other ones until we reach the soil. So we have to design this system in a way that there are lights that there is enough light, not just much, but some that reaches here, that the plants that covers the soil can exist there, okay? Because it's that plants that covers the soil that allows that that the soil is alive, because the soil cannot be without plants, because then if there is no covering, plants covering the soil, that these microorganisms that allows that there is this technique regenerates the soil, doesn't exist, because the soil has to be covered, okay? And then again, sorry, this we go again to the so it's nice to see my slides now. So we go again to this, and this scheme shows you a link between that layers and the plants. And let me just okay, so what we see here in the first year of your design or your plantation, your agroforest, you just need to think about it is, okay, I want to cover my soil. So, okay, it's the most important. If you have already a soil, a land with a soil with organic matter, you can start here. You can pass this phase and go here. You see, you have fruit trees, you have for instance, lavender or rosmarinus or something like that, little bushes. And then you have here vegetables. And with the time, they will go to what we call secondary plants. So plants that live more in time as a life cycle bigger, and you know, they are like covering the others that makes no sense to be there. So this technique is it's very good, because from the beginning you can have some you can have vegetables. For instance, here you can grow radish in 1 month. You have radish, you don't need more time, so you have already an income. You see, if I just grow forest, I would start here, and I didn't have all this back. It was like 3 or 5 years or 10 years that I just was waiting, you see, and I didn't cover all the light, all the soil, the space that I had, you see. So from the beginning until the end, I have income in money, income in put the CO2 on the soil and on the plants, having biomass, having I can grow tea, for instance, I can grow lettuce from the beginning. You see, when I reach here, already grown lots of things, and my soil is becoming more and more and better and better and better and better. What I mean, with more life, more life, more life. So regenerating and regenerating and regenerating. And in 30 years, I have a climax forest with all I need. Of course, here I have the species that make sense for my weather and my soil. This is just an example, okay? Because in Portugal, maybe I have olive trees and oak trees and almond trees, but in Central Europe, maybe I will have another ones, maybe apples, maybe big oaks, you know, different species. But it's fruit trees, it's wood trees, it's to make shade, to make shades, to have lots of shelter for the animals, because then the birds came, the little mammals came. You have more and more life, you see. And this is completely, is your production is the way you have your money and your food in 10 years, 20 years. And the soil, better and better. So it's just good. It's a win-win situation.
Angela, I just, so that there is time for people to ask questions,
Yes.
I wondered if you could wrap up in the next couple of minutes. It's really
I'm gonna
fascinating.
be very fast. So yes, thank you. So here you can see in this slide the functions, some functions of this technique. And one thing that I just want to say, you see, when you have lots of trees, it is the trees, the pruning and the leaves that are feeding the soil, okay? So you have to do this. We cut some branches, we let the leaves go to the soil again, and it's again that system, that cycle. So you have food, you have lots of different species, you help the fauna to go there. So like I said, it's very good situation. So and sorry, this is written in Portuguese, but I think this picture is so nice. So it express, this means biodiversity in Portuguese, biodiversidade. Biodiversity, you see, it's everything here. And this is just like a little summary of what I said. And this technique has immense environment benefits, immense, like I show you. And more diversity, more resilience. So, and now I just two last slides very quickly. So this is the land where I work most of my time. This was the beginning. You see, nothing, almost nothing, nothing. This was the grass I had there, so I cut it, biomass. So this is the beginning of, I started to plant trees. And then what I have now, completely different. You see? So I have a banana tree, would say. I had, here I have a peach tree, a pear tree, a medlar tree, a little fig tree there. You can see here better. You see? And they are very close together. And they are very happy there. So they will occupy what they need. And they are very, very near. You see? So you don't say, I don't have enough land. You have. And this is a little bed that I made to have strawberries. And I put it here to see all the soil is always covered. Okay, if you don't in the beginning have leaves, I cutted that grass, I dried the grass, I put it here. Everything was in my system, stayed in my system. And now, and this has just 2 years and a half. And I started to work in a very challenged situation. I had no organic matter. I had no life on that soil. The water is not so good quality, it's very alkaline. So you see, it's possible. And I think now it's the end of my presentation. I hope I was clear. I hope. But now you can put your questions, and then I hope to give more clarity if it's the situation.
Angela.
So this is a big oak. I like oaks. And the
Angela,
sun, without the sun.
If you take your presentation down now, then we'll be able to see
yes, of
everyone.
course.
Then we can see everyone who's here. I want to really congratulate you.
Oh, okay,
for
thank you.
Two things in particular. First, that everything you said, you gave us an example, which makes it so much easier to understand.
Okay.
And the other thing is, you're speaking in your second language, and you didn't read the slide. You were speaking from your heart.
I tried to read some.
I really congratulate you for that.
Thank you. I never imagined that I would talk in English.
It was
like so.
Very,
Nessie
very
helped
clear.
me, because when Nessie was there with me, she teach me a lot of English, you know. So it was very good.
Very easy to understand. Right, let's have a look. We
you.
have got some questions here. Let me find my chat. Okay, so
I think I might know the answer to mine now. What about what about like weaker, for want of a better word, plant species which will be crowded out by other ones and die? Are they a victim of natural succession? And later on in the talk, you said the key thing is which species you choose.
Yes.
So I'm guessing the answer to that is don't have those weaker ones.
No, there are no weakers. There are no, when you, that's why it's so important, the design. There is, so in this system, this way of working, it's very important to make planning. You have to planning before everything. You have to plan. So because when we put that species, we already know that will work out. Because first, in the beginning, it's more difficult because you have to know deeply the biology of each species, to know what is the life cycle, what's the needs of light. And then when you do this design, and this design is different, is always different because of your weather and your soil, like I said. So first you observe where it is. Oh, my neighbor has this tree here. it grows well. So it grows well here. So you have, the observe it. And then, okay, so I'm going to see which needs these plants. So, okay, it's an apple tree. So I see, oh, this is the eye canopy and lives like for 50 or 60 or 70 years. So I can put it like on the side of, for instance, a peach tree that it's much lower. It will live 50 years, not 16 or 60, sorry. And you see, it's like this. And then
Yeah.
there are no plants that will die or not survive. But if this happens, it's good. It's not a bad thing. You see the things like an opportunity. Okay, this plant died, so she will feed. She start already to feed the soil. And the soil will start to feed the other plants that are alive. So, and with the mistakes or with the things that we sometimes don't do so much do well, it's an opportunity to learn, okay, I did this. This is not a good solution, so I choose the other. So
Yeah.
this is very interesting to do. We learn a lot. It's very good. It's very
Thank
good
you.
to do it.
So there's a good question for you here, Angela.
Yes.
How do we make this into a standard approach everywhere?
Sorry?
How do we encourage people to do this in other places, everywhere?
Yes, it's a good question. So for me, the answer is you do it, and then people see. And when they see, they believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the only way, because we are so our minds are are with ideas, with other ideas, that this is not possible, that we have to see with our eyes. You have to see this happening, and then okay, it's real. So if it's real, it works.
So my question is, does growing things in that way make harvesting more difficult, slower?
Oh, no. It's nothing difficult. Because, and I will explain, because when you are designing the lines, when we are planning the lines, I didn't say this here because I thought it was more specific and I didn't have time, but it's good that someone asked. Thank you for that question. Is when you make the lines, you can make the lines in different ways. You can make just one line with all species only on that line, or you can make the line of the trees, just choose trees, and the sides of the trees, you make lines with just vegetables, for instance. So, like you have like, like you have a line, it's not the word, maybe you can help me. Like a lane.
Terraces. We had terraces we made.
Terrace, yes, like that. Like, for instance, a line, you don't see the line like just a line. You see like an area. So you have an area that's in that's like in the width is like at the most 1 meter, like normally it's 80 centimeters. And you in the center you choose and you plant the trees, and on sides you plant the vegetables. And then with the time passing, the trees in that middle line will grow and then make shades, and then that lines that we had before on the sides of the tree lines disappear. But you already had some food, and then there's another situation, another design. So, but in this way, I just have vegetables in the first years, and then, so you do it, the design in a different way. So what you can do, another situation is you make the line of the trees, then you make 3 lines, just vegetables. And that 3 lines is just for vegetables, always. And then another line of trees. you don't forget that these trees that feeds the system with the leaves, with the brick roots, with everything. So when you pruning the line, the fruit line, the tree line, you put that, all that on the line of the vegetables, because the vegetables as life cycles vary, like 1 year or 6 months or 2 months, like lettuce or whatever. So you put everything that the trees gave, you put on this line. So there are different ways of doing this.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
you can really and if you don't like lines, you can make like waves or something, but on the, because in the nature there is no lines, there is spaces of light. You work with the spaces of light. So when you have more light, you can have more vegetables because they need entire full sun, but you always have the trees and different species. You never, you know, it's like this. I'm being clear, I'm explaining,
Yeah, no, it's absolutely terrific. And there's another point I think is being made by some of the people in the chat, which is
yes.
that you have to see it to understand it. So I think you're going to have to issue a lot of invitations for people to come and visit you.
Okay, you can come wherever. It's a good weather. We don't have cold. We don't have snow. It's
Yeah.
only sunny, so you can come. I show you. I will be very happy to do that.
I think this has been absolutely fascinating. And
Thank you.
there's quite a few people who have said you should read the chat because it's very complimentary. A lot of people have said.
Oh, okay, I will.
And there's Nessie is asking, is there any situation, this is the last question, is there any situation when you would have to add some kind of organic fertilizer to begin with?
Good question too. All good questions. Yes and no. Yes, if you are really in the beginning, if you have a land that you don't really have nothing, it's much clay, you don't have organisms there, like microorganisms on the soil. In the first time, you can even use machines to discompact the soil just once in your life. And you can use organic matter, but please, you choose the ones that is like manure or leaves or something. You don't have to use synthetic, you know, agro. You don't need that. You can just do it. You know, to work with the nature, you have to be patient and persistent, and and sometimes we cannot do it right away, but it worth to wait. You know, just you put manure, for instance, you put some chickens there, or you put some cows, or cows, they are very heavy, but like sheep or goats, any animal just goes there and make poo-poo. And it's enough. Next year, it's completely different. It's 1 year and you can observe all this, the spring and the summer, you know, takes time, but it's worth.
So this is a very important point, Angela. There is a question from Nagyoti, who is listening to you from India.
Okay. Oh,
and
India.
She is a member of the Rotary Action Group for the Environment, and she would like your contact details in order to invite you to one of those Rotary meetings. So may I give her your details?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I'll
Yes,
do that.
please. Of course. Of course. If I can help, I'm very glad to do it.
And I think your story is one that needs spreading. So we will help to do that as much as we can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, and it's possible. I always work my life. It didn't make sense to me. And one day, look, so can happen with you too.
Thank you, Angela. That was really inspiring.
Thank you, me. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Really terrific.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angela. Wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Nancy, too. Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Jane. Thank everyone that watched, and I hope it was very useful for you.
Really useful, really interesting, and I very much admire your presentation.
Oh,
Terrific.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And
Thank
yeah, your English should go from
Great
strength to strength.
presentation, Jenny. Today's session was really too deep and excellent about the trees. This way, if everyone understands, then there will be a great change.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
the change. Yes,
Okay.
Great change.
big change. That's what we need. We just need to change, and then.
Yeah.
I would like to invite you for the SRAG meeting, and I will send you the invitations, and I will put forward in front of our directors. So
Okay.
let us have more discussion on trees.
Okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
Thank you so much.
You could be speaking in India before you know it.
Oh, India. What was?
I think the climate's a little bit different there, but hey.
Yes, yes. But it works the same way. It's just to choose the species.
Yeah.
But in India will be much faster and easier, you know, because with rain in the summer when it's hot, everything.
Everything grows quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going
Thank
to
you.
close there.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.